In this Minecraft video, I spent 100 days in a desert-only hardcore Minecraft world, where my only objective is to get full netherite armor and beat the Ender Dragon 3 times. This series was pretty fun, so make sure to watch the whole thing through, and if you guys do enjoy it, please make sure to like and subscribe. We are so close to 10,000 subscribers. And without further ado, enjoy the video. Because Minecraft is built different, it starts on day 0 instead of day 1. So I also decided to do the same thing because I also want to be built different. But the only thing day 0 consisted of was me going to different desert temples and collecting loot. That's it. And at the end of the day, I wound up finding a village and I slept there. And that was literally the ending of day 0 or the start of day 1, whatever you want to call it. Day 1 started off pretty sandy. I wound up finding 2 blacksmiths in the village that I was staying in, and they had some really good loot inside of them. But you want to know the one thing that nobody told me? Nobody told me that deserts didn't have trees in them. So for like 5 minutes straight, I'm trying to trade every villager that I can come in contact with for wood. But you know what no one else told me again? Villagers don't trade wood. So I took that L. I swallowed it. Pause. I wound up finding a ruined portal. Got some subpar loot from that, you know, no dream luck here. And then I just kept taking L's for some reason. I want you guys to watch this L in 4K. You can't make this up. So I went back to the village defeated. I had no way of making a crafting table, and I had just lost loot from a desert temple. But as the late Albert Einstein once brilliantly said in his remarkable speech, all my slimes that keep taking L's, the W is around the corner. Day 2, we were preparing for the grind. Since we had just found that crafting table, we can now craft important things like food and craft things like armor. So I graciously took this iron golem's life, sparing him from the suffering I was about to enact on this world. And after that, I headed to the mines to top off day 3. And for those that want a mining montage of day 3, I don't care. Day 4 to 5 was more of me getting desert temple loot. That seemed to be something common in this series, so be ready for it. I then found an unarmed black. We're not going to finish that joke, but something notable about day 4 to 5 is when I came across this massive village not too far away from the one I had been staying at before. This is important because this is the village that I wound up building my kingdom at. But I looked over the edge and it was just nice. The village was beautiful. It was big. The villagers were all well endowed. So I thought, why not live here? And day 6, that's exactly what I did. I started by establishing my domain, you know, no Jujutsu Kaisen for all the anime watchers out there. And I started my reign of dictatorship and tyranny over this village. But I'm not the best builder, so my house looked a little whew. Day 7, I began transferring loot from the old village to the new village. And apparently, I added in a pointless clip of me running in the desert because I'm a really good editor. Day 8 to 10 was literally everything you just saw previously. Like looting desert temples, mining for ores, but only this time, I also added a cute little bridge over a massive ravine that was in the village. Day 11 doesn't signify anything important. I just decided that I was going to start speeding up these day summaries for editing's sake. So, day 11, guess what I did? Oh, you probably guessed it. All I did was mine a lot. Day 12, I caught some NBA YoungBoy fans in the slums and they all wanted smoke, so I gave it to them. And then me and all my slimes headed in the nether because that's just how we roll, and that's all the way on blood. This was my first encounter with wood, so you know your boy, as the youngins say, had to stack up that paper. I then indulged myself in a bit of gambling, and it honestly paid off because I got some ender pearls. After trading, I then decided to explore the nether a bit and came across a soul sand valley in which I got some soul sand. Day 14 and 15 consisted of some mindless building because, as I said before, I'm not Bob the Builder, so I had no vision for what this house should be. But something I was sure of is that I want to have a room and a cave system under my house, so I started mining underground to start working on that process. Day 17 and 18 was a continuation of day 16, but I finally had some structure for what I wanted. I was now going to build a full room dedicated to things for the nether, so like a nether portal, things like a nether wart farm, and overall things that just came from that dimension. Using the stone I got from mining, I then started upgrading my village Clash of Clans style. I first used the cobblestone to make necessary repairs to the village, like building a bridge so the iron golem could move across it freely. I then used the rest of the cobblestone to make cobblestone fences, and then I placed them all across the village to protect it. This was a long, drawn out process. That's why it wound up taking so long for me to complete, because I had so many things going on. Like I wanted to protect the village, but I didn't have enough stone, and I also wanted this nether room set up as quickly as possible so I could go explore. But eventually things started coming together, and my huge nether portal was almost complete. Almost. The village was now starting to come together. It looked more like a concentration camp, and that was comforting, but the walls were only about 20% fully placed because Oh, and there's a dumb villager down there, which inspired me to place more walls, because if not, the villagers would only get trapped down there. Next, I decided to completely destroy my star excuse for a house and start from ground zero. I didn't know what I actually wanted to build. All I know is that I was going off of old tutorials of Dan TDM survivals, and I was going off a bit of aesthetics in terms of looks for the house. But of course, I eventually got distracted from building the house, and I started heading towards a previous lava pool that I covered in water to grab obsidian for the big nether portal. After I grabbed all the obsidian necessary, I then started placing them in the right spots, as you can see on screen, because like I said, I'm an amazing editor, and I finally lit the portal. And to say that I got a decent spawn would be an understatement, because your boy spawned right next to a bastion, and I was so surprised by my spawn that I sat there for an extra 5 minutes just to stare at it. Before I went to go explore the nether, I wanted to get all my things in order, so I came back to the overworld to just finish building my house. And when I say finish building my house, what I really meant was just doing a little bit of work so I didn't feel bad about myself. So here you see I do some of the interior. You know, I'm not completely lazy, and I at least try to organize my chest when I can, just a little bit. And here you see the front of my house after a bit of scaffolding. As I said, I learned from Dan TDM in one of his survival series. I don't even remember which one it was, but after that I decided to do some charity work and save a damsel in distress, aka villager stuck in a ravine, and help him out of there. And before we go in the nether, I want to give people a mental image of what my house looked like before we continued. Okay, it was now time to go explore the nether. My first priority was to make a protective base around the portal. My logic was that if I ever got attacked, I could make a safe exit and be fine. And because we're playing hardcore, I'd rather be safe than sorry. And to top it off, I added some cobblestone fences to seal the deal. After that, it was time for me to gain some balls of steel and finally go into the bastion. But after one sight of a piglin, I accidentally ran away, built up, and then I started to combo each of them, trapping them in a cycle of death. I then immediately tried to build over to the chest and fell, and that scared the absolute crap out of me, and I popped an enchanted golden apple, which I didn't need to. Looting these chests weren't that bad. I wound up being able to cop a diamond pickaxe enchanted, which was really good, and also got some ancient debris or netherite bricks, but at the time I didn't know how to use them, so I just stored them away in the chest. But after I finished looting, I took all the loot back and placed it in the chest in my nether section of the house. I started day 35 off by placing some more walls in the sand, and then I went to my nether room and finished building it. I planned to place soul sand on the outlines of the room so I could use soul speed to get around faster. I then decided to place water on both sides of the portal because my logic was that if I was ever on fire or burning, that I would quickly go through the nether portal and be in water. This was me adding to the interior of my house because, as I said, I had so many things going on that I could never solely focus on one task. I will say that even though I had a lot to do and a lot of ideas in my head, I still managed to get a lot of it done. And a perfect example is this nether room, because even though it's not fully complete, I still got the basics done and it looks decently okay. You know, don't butcher me in the comments. But something that I didn't seem to touch on earlier was that this was all done in the new 1.17 snapshot, which means that all the caves were massive, and that just means that there's a lot more to explore. But I did happen to find an oak sapling from a village, which really helped us out because we were then able to make oak trees at our home base. Day 45 to 50 was spent all in the nether. I decided to go back and explore the bastion to see if I had missed anything, but then I got jumped by a pack of hoglins and almost died, so I just said screw it. Also, here's a clip of me not knowing how to use the smithing table. For some reason, I thought crafting netherite was as simple as putting a netherite scrap in there and putting the item you wanted to make netherite in, and it would just automatically become netherite. For some reason, I thought it was that simple. I then decided to start my hunt for another fortress, and I eventually found one, and I had a very, very close near-death experience when an MLG gas decided to snipe me from like 400 miles away. No, it was actually like right next to me, but I didn't see it. I then decided to build back up, but this time your boy had fire rest, so we made slight work of these blazes. Wasn't even a challenge. After ruthlessly slaughtering that innocent colony of blazes, we then decided to make the stuff. If you don't know what this stuff is, you're about to find out. It is the Eyes of Ender. Day 51, we decided to indulge in some community work because as a king, aka chieftain of the village, aka the big dilf, there needs to be a metaphorical red carpet everywhere we go. And I know these villagers or this iron golem isn't going to build it, so you know the king has to do some dirty work too. And also decided to feed this golem just so people know that I also help out my community. You know, I'm not just a tyrant of a king. I actually care about my citizens. What you're about to see is my favorite aspect of my house. I randomly thought of putting a nether portal at the top of my house so I could see it from a distance, and it actually turned out to be really cool looking. But of course, I can't just conjure things in midair like the Warhammer Titan, so it actually took a bit of a grind to get all this obsidian. But you know, your boy's just good. After I lit the masterpiece, I went to go look at it from the front, and it looked really good. But it could be better. So I did some work on the top and also shaved off the edges, and I also pushed it up on the inside so it wasn't hanging down as much, and this result to me looks better than it did at first. Knowing that this took place in the 1.17 cave update, I wanted to explore because I heard it was a lot easier to get diamond, but I didn't know about brimstone. But I kept digging and then I fell in this massive hole and I was so scared, like you don't understand. I had never seen anything like this before in my life, but I realized that I wasn't equipped at all, so I went back up, got some better loot, and came straight back down. and I almost died there. I don't know what's wrong with me. When I came back down, I immediately disabled the mob spawn because I did not want to die to those spiders. Looked in the chest and got some more diamonds because the rumors were true. Diamonds were now way more easy to get than they were before. But this is where things start to get insane. I got completely wiped by these skeletons. Like, I got destroyed. I continued to explore the mine shaft, coming into contact with more skeletons, more mobs, and I defeated them. But something is about to happen that you would never expect, and I don't even believe it. So I got pushed back by that skeleton, and because there was an enderman, I decided to place that water and hide because I did not want to die. I was not going to die here with low hearts and everything like that. So I secured my position, and I was trying to angle it to where I could get the enderman, and I did. I killed another unarmed black. We're still not going to finish that joke. And then it happened. It literally happened. I can't believe it myself, but it happened, and I didn't believe it when I found it in the game either. It's insane. I found the stronghold, and I'm about to play the game audio of when I first found it and my reaction to it because it was insane. I just want to let the recording know this is not scripted at all. I was in a mine shaft. I have no fucking clue. It is day 54 currently. I'm flabbergasted that not only that I was about to go up, but this is literally the fucking stronghold. And not only did I find the stronghold, I found the portal. And this stronghold just so happened to be right next to my house, and it was just crazy. So I used this opportunity to grab a silk touch axe and grab most of the books, or the books that I could carry from the stronghold library, and bring them back to my base. After that, I decided to build a half-assed enchantment table or enchantment room because I was really excited to just enchant. So please spare me in the comments. And then it was time to enchant. I didn't get that bad enchantments on the sword. It wasn't that bad. It could have been better, but it wasn't that bad. But because I'd looted so many desert temples, I had books like Fire Aspect 2, so I put that on the sword. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. No need for easy. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. And with that, I became super motivated, so I went to Nether and I tried to go find some ancient debris. And no, this is my first time doing this ever, so I was kind of new to it. All I knew was that you needed to blow up some TNT, and eventually you'd find some. And it took me a long time, and I wasted a lot of TNT doing this, but I found some. I wasn't sure of the race, but all I know is that I had to be at level 15 at all times and just blow stuff up underground. And I found a decent amount of it, not the amount that I was hoping of, because as I said, I was completely new to this, so I was expecting like a lot, maybe like 30, but no, not at all. 30? More like 3. I got 3, but luckily I had one netherite scrap from the bastion, so that helped a lot, and it allowed me to make my first ever netherite ingot. And what did I spend it on? I spent it on the chest plate. Not even level 30 enchanted chest plate. A smart person would have fully upgraded their chest plate, waited. But no, I'm sadly not that smart person, but no use to complain about it now. But alas, I think everybody here knows why I'm fully decked out and at the end portal. It was time to complete a ritual that I had never completed before in hardcore, which was defeating the Ender Dragon. This is my first time ever beating the Ender Dragon in full hardcore mode without, like, it was nerve-wracking for me. And I got in and I thought I fell through the map. I was so scared. But as you can see, I'm clearly guard bridging right now, and the footage definitely isn't sped up, so don't worry about it. And for some reason, the Ender Dragon thought it was okay to throw some key blasts at me while I'm trying to build up. It was kind of rude, so I don't respect them anymore. This moment had to be shaken in my boots. I had to make a split decision whether to stay up here or jump off, and you know, I chose the latter. Water clutch, not even close. After hitting every target I shot at the first time, because the clips definitely aren't cut, the dragon then tried to take another attempt on my life, and of course, since I'm a god, it wasn't even close. Easy. I then decided that this dragon's stay in the inn had been long enough and it was time for him to leave. And then on day 62 of my 100-day survival, I delivered the final strike to the Ender Dragon. But that doesn't really mean anything because I spawned the Ender Dragon in 2 more times. And you will not believe this betrayal by Minecraft. They decided to cap me out at level 68, one away from the god tier of level 69. Minecraft, what are you doing? Day 63 to 67, I then decided to go back to the end and explore the end cities. But before I did that, I realized I had a looting force sword, so I decided to commit mass genocide on the Enderman and do, as the youngins like to say, stack up my money. After coming in contact with Planet Namek, I mean end cities, I decided to use my extreme intellect to outmaneuver every single one of these guys and acquire the god loot. Look at that god helmet, it is beautiful. But clearly Mojang had it out for me because there was no elytra in that end city. So I got depressed and decided to jump off because why live anyway? But I wound up finding another end city to conquer, decided to outmaneuver all these guys as always, and all that for some subpar loot. Mojang, you gotta be joking. But I saw the beautiful ship and I knew exactly what that meant. It meant that I was getting some elytra, baby. And honestly, I'd say that everything I went through was worth it because now I got the opportunity to fly in Minecraft. Before leaving the ship, I decided that I was going to take the Ender Dragon head with me, but of course as I break it, it falls directly to the ground, but it gives me a chance to test out my new elytra, and it was well worth it. After I got back home, I tried enchanting some books to see if I could get a mending for my elytra, but I didn't get any. Also, I set this down randomly because I had no real place to put it yet, so I then tried the idea of fishing and enchanting a fishing rod, but I didn't know how this would work out since this is a desert and not an ocean. But nevertheless, I enchanted 2 fishing rods and both had kind of bad enchantments, so I combined them and got an even worse bow. I'm kidding. I then sat there a while and got nothing but fish. Like, you don't understand. As I said, I didn't know if this would work because this is the desert, and I guess it didn't because I didn't get anything else but fish. But I then used that fish to get me a little pet here. I snuck up behind her, and then I tamed her. She doesn't have a name yet, so anybody that wants to give it to her can name some in the comments. In honor of day 69, I decided to make a breeding hut for the villagers, but apparently none of them wanted to do public fornication because it didn't work. They just all ran away for some reason. I can't see why. But then I got back to my base and I found a villager sleeping in my bed, so you know what that meant. It meant that I was going to name the villager. Please get your head out of the gutter. After I had the name tag, I woke the villager up and I gave him the ultimate name of Gerald. After I gave him the name, I turned around and he was back to sleep. What a legend. Just so Gerald wouldn't get hurt out here, I decided to lock him in order to torture him. I mean, keep him safe. And on day 70, I began my plan of turning this whole village into a nether village. My ultimate goal was to turn every sand and sandstone block into nether and blackstone. Like, I was going to change every villager hut into a blackstone hut. I don't know how it's going to look, but it's going to look cool. And I put this clip in here to show that even though I may have kidnapped him, I'm still a good captor. You know, I gave him a flower. I then thought of a place where I could put this Ender Dragon head, and that was on the front of my house. But then I looked at it and I thought, I need 2 of those. I then continued my plan and decided to upgrade the front of my house to all netherrack, then building 2 twin eternal flames. And in my opinion, my house is really starting to come together. But now that we're done with side quests, let's get back to the main quest. I wanted to defeat the Ender Dragon 3 times in 100 days because I didn't know if that had been done yet. But in order to do that, I had to get gassed here, which meant I had to kill some gas. So I decided to smite thee. But something I didn't know about was that if you hit a fire charge back at the gas with your sword, it transfers all your enchants from the sword onto the fire charge. So I got a lot of gas here from just hitting that one because I had looting on my sword. And for some reason, I began to think I was in an action movie where I had to dodge a fire charge and kill a gas in midair while flying. But it almost backfired because that magma cube almost hit me inside the lava. After completing the main quest mission, Minecraft gave me some side quests like taming a cat. So please give me some cat names in the comment section because they also had a baby. So we need a lot of cat names. After we had acquired all the materials, we could now respawn the Ender Dragon 2 more times, which is kind of crazy to think about that we're going to kill the Ender Dragon 3 whole times. For those wondering, this is what the village looks like right now with all the walls around it, but I plan to transform all this into netherrack and blackstone, so please be ready. And for those wondering what difference blackstone makes on a house, I want you guys to see this small transformation, but see how better my house looks after this. And this was my in-game reaction to it. Oh, hell yeah. Oh hell. Day 78 to 84 was a lot of what you've already seen. It was more of me transforming the sand to netherrack, more of me exploring the underground in this new cave system in 1.17, more of me not understanding 1.17 or what the new ores do. But something that wasn't new was the fact that I was finally about to finish my half-built house that I only waited 80 days to complete. And I also tried to make the villagers breed again, but this time it's going to be in my house. And then I tried to hide behind the stairs because I thought I was interrupting or they wouldn't do it just because I was right there. I don't know what's going through my head when I'm playing Minecraft, and I don't know. My house breeder didn't work, so I wound up making another one in the middle of the village, and this time I had a plan. I was going to trap a villager inside of here, and I was going to force him to have intercourse. And we can argue villager morals and ethics all day. I don't care. These villagers were going to reproduce at any cost. Day 85 to 86, I realized the 100 days challenge was almost over, and that I had to defeat 2 more Ender Dragons to reach my goal. But I wanted to do it in style. And by in style, I meant I wanted to do it in full decked out netherite armor. So I had to get in nether and find some more netherite blocks or ancient debris, whatever you call it. After a bit of searching, I did get a decent amount of ancient debris. I actually think I was luckier this time around than last wall. It's quite apparent that I was luckier this time around because I got a lot more this time. And by a lot more, I mean a lot more. I wound up getting 13 ancient debris, and for a beginner like me, that's actually pretty good. And please ignore the dying iron golem in the background. He stepped on the eternal flame and he's burning to death. But after this, I turned all the scraps into ingots and I was finally ready to upgrade my diamond armor for the first time in my Minecraft career. I let the music blow up because it's epic. Day 87 to 89, we were now ready to go fight the 2 more Ender Dragons. But before that, I wanted to grab this egg because I forgot to grab it the last time, and I'm pretty sure people picked up on that, so yeah. And of course, because I decided to stray off the main quest task, I started doing something completely unrelated, like slaughtering another colony of Endermen for Ender Pearls. But on the bright side of things, I wound up giving the dragon egg to Gerald, and he smiled a bit. You heard that? And then I made his friend dance. So that's on the bright side of things. We also got distracted again and decided to breed the cats a bit. Yeah, I know. I have the attention span of like 15 seconds, but I don't like orange babies, so I killed it. Another cat wound up showing up, so we tamed that one, and then we bred these two cats together to get more better colored babies. I'm gonna get a lot of hate for that one. Then I walked in the house to see Gerald and the other villager. I don't even know what to say. Let's just say that I wasn't happy about it. Day 92 to 93 was more terraforming of my base from sand to netherrack and blackstone, and I decided to add 2 more eternal flames in the vicinity of my home. And as you can see, I really love the look of my home now. It just looks amazing. I then decided to come over to the main part of the village, and you guys will never guess what happened. I saw a baby villager in the pen, and I knew that my trap of forced intercourse worked. After I'd seen that proud moment, I knew that I had seen enough, and it was now time for me to beat the 2 more ender dragons. Since this wasn't my first rodeo, your boy wasn't phased at all. He was ready for it, and I promptly went over to the bedrock thing, I don't even know what you call it, and respawned that bad boy. That boy was angry. But apparently, I offended one of his kids because he then came charging at me and he got wiped just like his dad was about to get wiped. And luckily for me, the Ender Dragon is all bark and no bite because I got him out of here just as fast as he got in here. And that Ender Dragon is pretty lucky because if Minecraft had emails, I literally would have Fortnite danced on his dead corpse. But as fast as he got out of there, I called him straight back in because you can't escape from me, buddy boy. That boy was angry again. And I started getting jealous that the Ender Dragon has such a cool entrance just to die to me twice in under 30 minutes. Like, why don't I have that entrance? But nevertheless, I took out some of his totems here, and then the guy got physical and he tried to throw me, but you know, it wasn't even close. I then built back up to show dominance, but he wasn't having it, and neither was I. And because there's consequences for every action you do, I decided to exercise divine punishment on this man and remove him from the inn, making this the 3rd time I've killed the Ender Dragon in the 100 days time period. If I don't go down in history, I don't know what will. After that, I decided to take a friendly trip to the end cities to get another Ender Dragon head for the front of my house. And let me tell you, I don't wish this trauma on anybody because this was a very long process for one item. That I'm not going to use other than aesthetics. But nevertheless, I endured the pain even though my eyes were bleeding for you guys. And I got the Ender Dragon helmet and we were leaving the end cities. I don't want to come back here for a long while. I'm tired. I'm tired of being here. Oh yeah, and I committed genocide again. Don't worry about it though. Day 99 was the day we placed our second Ender Dragon head on the house, and our house was practically complete. I mean, just look at this beauty. Oh my god. After that, I want to take one of my last strolls around the village just to see what we've built and what we need to build in the future. Because for days 100 to 200, the expectation is I'm going to turn all this into a Nether themed village, and it's going to look so amazing. I also decided to place a lot more blackstone just to get a feel for what's coming next. I also decided to grab the last end crystal because I had a plan for it. But this is just a close-up of the house that we're ending this part of the series with, and I think it looks amazing. I think I outdone myself because otherwise I don't know how to build. And as for a plan for the end crystal, I have no clue where I was going with this, but you'll see. I don't know. I just wanted to make something with it. You guys can let me know in the comments if you guys thought this was a waste of an end crystal and glass. After that, we decided to observe our house a little bit more, just sinking everything in. But then we knew that we had to do the deed, and that deed was sleeping over day 99 and going into day 100. Day 100 was solely decoration because I didn't want to do anything that was time investing because it was the last day. I couldn't do anything else. I was then trying to make sure that all my chests were organized because this is going to be the last time I was playing this world for a while. I also noticed a lot of villagers came to my house because I guess they knew I was leaving and they wanted to say their goodbye, so that was kind of nice. I then had a conversation with Gerald and he said he would hold it down while I was gone, so he's a real one. And as I was about to go to sleep, something that I've never seen in my life happened. The cat laid down on the bed. I didn't know this was in the game. And of course I tried to recreate it with this cat, but of course I couldn't do it. So I just said screw it. And that was the ending of this 100 days challenge. If you guys did enjoy, make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.